Okay, welcome everyone. It's great to see so many of you here. We have 74 people in the room right now. I think more will be showing up in the next few minutes. And hello to everyone who's watching the recording later. This is our winter solstice gathering, and we're very excited to have you here tonight, to have our lovely speaker, Naleea Landman, here tonight. Naleea is a healer, a translator, singer, and actress based in Germany. Since early childhood, she has had a strong yearning to connect with the divine and understand the realities of this world and the universe. Her vision is to live in a world of heart-centered beings who listen to their own guidance and share themselves and their gifts in joy and divine connection. So she will be leading us through tonight's event, Let There Be Light, a festive gathering of heart and soul connection. There are so many of you, so I will ask everyone to please stay muted unless invited to speak. I think there will be some opportunities to say hello. But for now, just sit back, relax, enjoy, and welcome, Naleea.
Thank you so much, Maria, and welcome everybody. So wonderful to be together in the light now. And what a beautiful name you have, Maria, at this time of the year. So it's wonderful to hold our gathering in your frequency. Yeah, so I want to start with my memories of Christmas, the time or the run up to Christmas. My mother always decorated the house in the most beautiful way, and there was, of course, like everywhere in Germany, I guess, the Advent wreath with the 4 lights, and they have a meaning. Every candle that is lit one Sunday after the other before Christmas, they have a meaning. So the first candle is the candle of hope. So lighting this means to manifest that hope is like a light shining in a dark place. And the second candle is the candle of peace. And so my wish is that may peace be with us everywhere we go. The third candle is the candle of love. May you always remember the love that you are. And the fourth candle is the candle of joy. And joy is healing. So my first story this evening is a story from Frank Howaldt. I've translated almost all the stories from German to English. So this story is called The 4th of Advent. It had been a cold day with thick clouds hanging over it. But now all stars are out. I sit on the garden bench with my little one, wrapped up, warm and cozy. Inside, the 4 candles are burning. And next to us, the paper lantern, which we light every evening since the lantern parade of the volunteer fire brigade 2 weeks ago. Its friendly moon face smiles at us. We look up into the sky. The sky. I gather together all my bits and pieces of knowledge. I want to pass it on to my little one. I list the planets and tell him about black holes, satellites, galaxies, and light years, space shuttles, and asteroids. Everything about the cosmos that I know. The little one is silent and listens. He points to the sky. A shooting star is actually a burning lump of stone, I add. You can make a wish, he says. I can't think of anything to say on the spot. Can we sing the song about the stars again? He asks. Singing, not my thing, my strong thing. I start humming. We cuddle up closer together. Do you know each star that brightly twinkles in the midnight star? Do you know each cloud that lightly over meadows floating by? Only love doth mark their number with her eyes that never slumber, knows their ways and where they from, sees each and everyone. Later in the evening, I secretly look again for the shooting stars. The little one is asleep, and we have put his lantern into the snow-covered apple tree. The firmament awakens a strange, sheltered joy in my heart. I stand amazed, and somehow that evening the sky had suddenly become a different one to me. And Franz Kafka has written something to describe a feeling like that. This feeling of the glory of life. In these short sentences. It is very well imaginable that the glory of life lies readily, surrounding everyone, always, and in all its fullness, but veiled in the deep, invisible, very wide. But it lies there, not hostile, not reluctant, not death. If you call it with the right word, by the right name, it occurs. And appears. And I found a text from Rosa Luxemburg, which completely surprised me. And I found this very essence and exactly that text as well. Joy, it's called. It's my third Christmas in jail, but you must not take it tragically. I am as calm and cheerful as ever, Yesterday, I lay awake for a long time. I can never fall asleep before 1 o'clock these days, but I have to go to bed already at 10 because the lights are turned off. And then I dream myself into various kinds of things in the dark. So yesterday I was thinking how weird it is that I am living in a constant, joyful feeling of high for no particular reason at all. For example, I am lying here in the dark, in the prison cell, on a rock-hard mattress. Around me in the building, there is the usual churchyard silence. So you feel as if you are in your own grave. From the window towards the ceiling, there is the reflection of the lantern in front of the prison, which shines all night long. From time to time, one hears the distant rumbling of a passing train or the nearby coughing of the guard, who takes some slow steps in his heavy boots close by the window in order to move his stiff, cold legs. The sand crunches so desperately under these steps that the whole bleakness and hopelessness of existence sounds out of it into the damp, dark night. And there I lie, quietly, alone, wrapped in these multiple black cloths of darkness, boredom, bondage, and winter. And at the same time, my heart beats with an incomprehensible, unknown inner joy, as if I were walking in bright sunshine across a flowering meadow. And I smile in the darkness of life, as if I knew some enchanting secret that reveals all that is evil and sad as nothing but falsehood, and transforms it into pure brightness and happiness. And while I look for a reason for this joy, I find nothing and have to smile again at myself. Yeah, and I actually know this smiling at or with myself quite well. And sometimes I take it even one step further, and I want to share that in that poem, in the following poem I wrote. It's called Talking to My Inner Child. Sometimes I stand beside myself, just like an angel or an elf, and call me by my childhood name, from long before my manners came, and say with kindness, little star that came from heaven, oh so far, you are a wonderful exemplar, just mind from time to time your temper. Live who you are, right from your core. There never was a you before. You're oh so loved, come day, come night. You're wise and wild, and always right. You're safe and strong, you know no fear. Because that is what I like to hear. Yes, and so fearlessness and peace to me have a lot in common. And I would like to share, because the next the next poem, when I translated it, there is a line which says "find peace," and when I translated it, a situation came back to my memory many years ago. I had a casting call for a role in a play in my most adored Hamburg theater, the Schauspielhaus Hamburg, and I never had played there before, and it was a production where they asked other people than the ensemble in there to join. And long story short, there was a casting round, lots of people in the room, and somehow they had different questions that they fired on everybody. And when it was my turn, I said something, I can't even remember what that was, but the couple that were leading that, being the directors later, they said to me, "So, sorry, you're not going to tell me that you believe in world peace, aren't you?" And I was like, oh, that was so, this force that was coming to me, that I was shaken by that. I was this feeling of being ridiculed and being attacked, of something that, wow, I just, yeah, I was really trembling. And then this very sweet, by the way, here is the big dog who just comes to me and protects right now. So I was really trembling, and then I heard myself say, "Of course I do." And yeah, that's what this poem about the dark time of the year, maybe as well you could say about the dark time on the earth, which it's, in the end, it's so unmistakably clear that there will be peace on earth. There's no doubt about that. So, about the dark time of the year. Have patience, whispers the land. I sleep. Find peace, whispers the sky. I am here. Love me, whispers hope. I live. I will come back, whispers the light. And so the next to the story is exactly about what is missing for the world to become peaceful again, and what can be done. The snowflake and the branch, a Zen story. How much does a snowflake weigh? A curious squirrel asked an old wise owl. A little more than nothing, replied the owl. Well, in that case, I'll tell you a story. Not long ago, I was sitting on the branch of a fir tree close to the trunk. Since I hadn't really anything else to do, I started counting the snowflakes that were gently and quietly falling on the needles and the branch. I counted exactly 3,742,175 snowflakes. And in the moment when the next snowflake, which weighed a little more than nothing, fell on the branch, it cracked and broke off. Well, replied the owl, perhaps all that is missing now is the voice of only one more human being, and a new peaceful world will come to pass. So, would you like to join me just for a moment to really go to the very center of your heart, the very center of your being. Feel your heartbeat. Just allow your breath to be. Be who you are. Nothing more and nothing less. So I want to call in the voice from so long ago that Franz or Francis from Assisi has been given us with his peace prayer. O Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is discord, union. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine master, or O heavenly source of all being, grant me that I not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. So, as of course, especially the second part is quite challenging to our personality, because we wish to be nurtured and feeling the love, feeling the appreciation, feeling to be seen or to be heard. There is a blessing I wrote for exactly that, our personality or our inner child, our ego, our psyche, however we want to call it. It goes, may your heart be held in the love that you are always. May your spirit be carried by the light of your soul forever. May their embrace unfold the blessings of the One, and may peace be with you wherever you go. So the next story is one of my very, very favorite Christmas stories. It's like a bunch of wonderful little fellas in a special meeting place, and you'll hear all about it in a moment. It's called The Rum Truffle on the Christmas Tray. When I was placed on the silver Christmas tray, together with my similar looking colleagues, I quickly realized that now it was time to wait. Wait and ripen until Christmas Eve. I smelled deliciously of dark chocolate and rum, and my sugar glaze looked especially good on me. "Hey," cried a chubby marzipan potato next to me, "don't take up all the space here." "You need to talk," objected a gorgeous-looking coconut macaroon to my right. "You are spreading yourself out like a fat Christmas stollen." She smiled kindly at me, and I beamed back. What would happen? What would happen, I dreamed, if we mixed our ingredients together? Surely something extremely sweet would come out of that. I looked around. It was a bit crowded here, but the colors and the aromas on this Christmas tray were incredible. I was really, really looking forward to the big day when a little child's hand would reach out for me and devour me with pure delight. That's just the crowning glory for us Christmas treats. My lovely coconut macaroon next to me had fallen asleep. Her delicate scent made me all giddy. "Are you near here?" I eyed up to the top left, where this deep voice came, and looked at the probably best ever looking gingerbread man of all time. He was just bursting with currants, raisins, and chocolate chips. Yes, I'm new. I'm still warm. I said, you look very appetizing. So round and moist, he praised me. Thanks, but for no comparison to you. You are fantastic. The gingerbread really lolloped under my compliment. Oh, that's right. I turned out quite well. The lady of the house tried a new recipe. She put a lot of effort in it. Ah, blah, 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 ranted the chubby marzipan potato once again. You and your nonsense rumbling. By Boxing Day, latest, you just be stuffed into full bellies and no one will remember how you looked or smelled. You're just smug and stupid fools. You might be right. I somehow agreed. But after all, it is our job to look and taste good. If you keep grousing like this, laughed a butter cookie diagonally across from us, no one's going to snack on you because you'll have gone sour by then. We all laughed roaringly, and the marzipan potato turned all dark brown with rage. My sweet coconut macaroon had woken up and listened to us silently for a while. Don't you all understand the meaning of Christmas? It's not about who has turned out the best, has the most beautiful color, or tastes the most delicious, or who has the best place on the Christmas tray. The only important thing is that we all, as we are together here, bring joy and contribute to make it a happy and merry Christmas. And if we all get along until then, our flavors will merge and we will all taste unforgettable. It became very quiet on the Christmas tray. The marzipan potato tried to slide down to center a bit further, but she didn't say anything anymore. The others nodded in agreement. I looked proudly at my little coconut macaroon because what she just said is the best recipe ever written. Yeah, and that is bringing me to someone. As we all always wish each other a blessed or a very merry and peaceful Christmas, which might be quite challenging in this time where there's still so much to do, and yeah, our everyday lives, so much rush. I just want to introduce you to someone who might help us to make this really happening, that it will be a peaceful Christmas. This someone is the Angel of Slowness. One angel always has time for you, no matter if you feel bright or blue. Can you guess? the Angel of Slowness, protector of snails, a turtle lover who helps to understand and to discover, gives patience and care, the ability to wait and to share. He caresses the cats until they purr, stands by the soups and reminds us to stir, rains beads to chains without grumbling, answers all questions without mumbling. And when people laugh and call you a disaster and say you really must do things faster, and the Angel of Slowness just smiles. Oh, child of mine, those who are fast, oh, and whispers softly, take your time. Those who are fast do not arrive sooner. There is no such thing as a late bloomer. That those who run, they love running. You walk in your own pace, which is stunning. He sits on the branches of ancient trees, teaches us to dream on a cloud or watch bumblebees, tells us of the very beginning of time and how to make eternity shine. Are we out of our breath and tired? He leads us to the calm and quiet. And if we really feel like a mess, he holds our head in sweet caress. And yeah, the next story, talking about recipes before, is called How to Become an Angel. As every year, the 6th grade was to perform the Christmas nativity play. Teacher Larsen began the preparations in mid-November. And first, the various roles had to be filled with talented little actors. Thomas, who was tall for his age, and as the eldest of 4 siblings, often had a serious demeanor, was to play Joseph. Tienchen, who had long pigtails and violet blue eyes, was unanimously voted to be Mary. And so it went on until all the roles were cast, except for that of the tight-hearted innkeeper, who was to turn the 2 shelter seekers, Mary and Joseph, away from the store. There was no boy left. The 2 girls who had ended up without a role preferred to report backstage for important work. So now, what to do? Should they ask someone from another class? And if so, whom? And hadn't all the 6 classes so far managed without such help? Joseph, aka Thomas, had the rescuing idea. His little brother would be quite capable of taking on this insignificant role, for which there was nothing more to learn than a single sentence, namely, to say at the right moment that there was no room available. Teacher Larsen agreed to give little Tim a chance. So Thomas turned up for the next rehearsal hand in hand with Tim, who showed no fear whatsoever. He had washed his hands and brushed his hair wet and was eager to play the host. He had had good experiences with innkeepers when the family went away on holidays. He got a blue cap on his head, and a dungaree apron tied on, which was supposed to mark him as the innkeeper. The inn itself, like all the other scenery, was not ready yet. So Tim stood in the middle of the empty stage, and it was very easy for him to say, no, he had nothing at all, when Joseph asked him for a room with Mary holding his hand. A few days later, Tim put himself to bed with measles, and it was a matter of utter fortune that he got back on his feet just in time for the day of the performance. The school was hectic and festive when he appeared with his big brother an hour before the start of the Christmas play. On stage behind the drawn curtain, he stopped, overwhelmed in front of the mock-up of his inn. It had a protruding roof, a painted lantern, and a window that could be opened. Thomas showed him how to push open the shutters at Joseph's knock. The performance began. Joseph and Mary entered the stage, wandered with dragging steps to the inn, and knocked. The shutters opened, and out peered Tim under his big innkeeper's cap. "Do you have a room available?" asked Joseph in a tired voice. "Yes, of course," says Tim warmly. Silence spread through the room, and even more so on the stage. Joseph tried in vain to spot teacher Larsen showing any kind of helping sign somewhere between the sets. Mary glanced at her shoes. "I think you are lying," finally came out of Joseph's mouth. The answer from the inn was an unmistakably no. It was thanks to a sudden leap of faith on Joseph's part that the show went on. After another moment of shock, he took Mary by the hand and wandered on to the stable, regardless the offer. Backstage, meanwhile, everyone was busy with little Tim. Teacher Larsen had to protect him from the fury of the other little actors before he took him to task. Tim explained that Joseph had had such a sad voice, he couldn't have said no, and at home they always had room for everyone, and on an air mattress if necessary. Mr. Larsen showed compassion and understanding. This was a story, he explained, and it had to be played exactly as it was written. Or would Tim, for example, allow his mother to tell the same fairy tale one way and then another? For example, with a kind wolf and a wicked Red Riding Hood? No, Tim didn't want that. And at the next performance, he wanted to try hard to be a bad host. He promised solemnly to the teacher. The second performance took place in the church's community hall and was, if at all possible, even more exciting for everyone involved. Who knows who would be watching tonight? Under the most vehement of threats, Thomas had told his little brother to answer Joseph's request with a clear no this time. As the two brothers appeared at the community center, Tientjen's Maria's neck became red, and she whispered to Thomas that she would not survive a second episode like last night. The large hall was full to capacity. Then the curtain rose. The holy couple appeared and wandered, somewhat hesitantly, it seemed, towards the inn. Joseph knocked on the shutters, but all remained silent. He knocked again, but they did not open. A sob escaped Mary. Finally, Joseph called out in a loud voice, "I don't suppose there is any room available here?" In the utter silence, where one could have heard a pin drop, a very soft but clear voice said, "Yes, there is." For the third and final performance of the Nativity play this year, Tim was stripped of his role. He was given wings made of soft canvas and moved to the angels in the stable. His hallelujah was unmistakable, and there was no doubt that he finally was in the right place. So, right place and right time. It is the time where the nests are inhabited by the snowflakes, and the golden leaves have said goodbye in a tender falling. It is the time where the thoughts turn and the heads lift and the heart remembers that darkness is not dark with him, and light will be instead of night. It is the time when the righteous become silent and new words are found by those who have searched while they waited. It is the time when we begin to feel you close to our hearts. May we receive according to your word. So the next story is called The Chicken in the Horse Stable, or Things That Take a While. "55 years old, it is now, my nativity stable. Our neighbor smoked cigars, and when I visited him again to borrow money, I saw the box. Thin, light wood, beautiful wood. lid and bottom large enough to saw out 2 figures. After all, there was no plywood in 1948. I had to gather all my courage to ask him. He looked as oddly as always when poor people wanted something from him. And then he said, "Yes, I'll give it to you. 10 eggs a box." We had 2 chickens that ate more than they laid eggs. I told them about the nativity stable. They tried to make an effort. I saved even more money than usual. And in the spring, I brought 3 chicks. One of them turned out to be a rooster. I drew figures. Mary, of course, Joseph, the baby Jesus, 2 shepherds, the 3 wise kings, 2 cows, a donkey, 6 sheep, 2 lambs. Then I found that woman also had to come to the stable. Isn't that right? After all, I would have liked to go with my mother at that time. There are always all these shepherds and kings, and Mary would surely be happy if there were also a few women there who knew something about small children. Meanwhile, the chickens and the rooster were doing their best. After 2 years, I had 11 cigar boxes. I borrowed a fret saw from the carpenter. The saw blades were very expensive, and although I treated them like raw eggs, 2 cracked. That's why I progressed not that fast. I always had to save up for the next saw blade. The bicycle merchant was surprised when he gave me his empty paint pots. There was always a little residue in them. Unfortunately, there was no yellow. That's why the faces are so pink. It took 3 years. Then, in 1951, I finished them. It was the celebration when I put them up for the first time. Now I'm 80. Here it is, my stable. I look forward all year to setting it up. Cigar boxes and bicycle paint. Isn't it beautiful? Oh yes, and do you see that little chicken right next to Mary? It sleeps. I know, actually there are no chickens in the stable of Bethlehem, but I'm sure you'll understand. So, about understanding, the next story is called My Grandfather's Blessing. And to me, really the essence of this story is how little it really takes for us to truly understand each other. My grandfather's blessing. When I came to visit my grandfather on Friday afternoons after school, The table was already set in the kitchen of his house for drinking tea. My grandfather had his own way of serving tea. He didn't have teacups, saucers, or bowls with sugar candy or honey. He filled the tea glasses directly from a silver samovar. You had to put a teaspoon in the glass first, because otherwise the thin glass could be cracked. My grandfather also didn't drink his tea the way I was used to from anyone else. He always took a piece of sugar between his teeth and then drank the unsweetened hot tea from the glass. And I did as he did. I liked this way of drinking tea much better than the way I had to drink my tea at home. When we finished our tea, my grandfather always put 2 candles on the table and lit them. Then he would exchange a few words with God in Hebrew. Sometimes he would say these words out loud, but most of the time he would just close his eyes and remain silent. Then I knew that he was talking to God in his heart. I sat and waited patiently because I knew now the best part of the week was about to come. When grandfather was done talking to God, he would turn to me and say, "Come here, Neshumile." I would then place myself in front of him, and he would gently lay his hands on the top of my head. Then he always began to thank God for having me and for making him a grandfather. He would then always bring up whatever issues I had been struggling with during the week and tell God something genuine about me. Every week, I was eagerly waiting to hear what it would be this time. If I had done anything wrong during the week, he praised my honesty in telling the truth about it. If I had failed at something, he expressed his appreciation for how hard I had tried. If I had slept without the light on at my bedside table lamp for even a short time, he praised my bravery in sleeping in the dark. And then he would give me his blessing and ask the woman from the distant past that I knew from the stories, Sarah, Rachel, Rebecca, and Leah, to watch over me. Those brief moments were the only times in my entire week when I felt completely safe and at peace. In my family of doctors and nurses, there was a ceaseless striving to always learn even more, as well as to be even more. There was apparently always something more to know. It was never enough. When I came home after a test in school with a score of 89 out of 100, my father would ask me, "What about the remaining 2 points?" Throughout my childhood, I ran incessantly after these 2 points. But my grandfather didn't care about such things. For him, my existence alone was enough. And when I was with him, I somehow knew with absolute certainty that he was right. My grandfather died when I was 7 years old. I had never lived in a world where he didn't exist until then. And it was hard for me to live without him. He had looked at me in a way that no one else did. And he had called me by a very special name, Neshumele, which means beloved little soul. Now there was no one who called me that way. At first I was afraid that if he stopped looking at me and telling God who I was, I would just disappear. But over time, I began to realize that in some mysterious way, I had learned to see myself through his eyes. And that to have been blessed once was to be blessed forever. John O'Donoghue is writing in his book Benedictus about a blessing. What a blessing is. For me, a blessing is a sphere of golden light that we can let emerge out of our heart and then send towards a person or a situation, and let this person be in this sphere of brilliant gold and diamond light. It's really wonderful to try to do that with someone you feel is in need of something, or just someone you wish to bring joy to. But John O'Donoghue is talking about what a blessing is in the following way. A blessing is a protective circle of light. A blessing is a protective circle of light drawn around a person to heal and strengthen. Life is a constant flow of emergence. The beauty of a blessing is its belief that it can affect what unfolds. To be in the world is to be distant from the homeland of wholeness. We are, or seem to be, confined by limitation and difficulty. When we bless, we are enabled somehow to go beyond our present frontiers and reach into the source. A blessing awakens future wholeness. We use the word foreshadow for the imperfect representation of something that is yet to come. We could say that a blessing brightens the way. When a blessing is invoked, a window opens in eternal time. A blessing is different from a greeting, a hug, a salute, or an affirmation. It opens a different door in human encounter. One enters into the 4 count of the soul, the source of intimacy and the compass of destiny. Our longing for the eternal kindles our imagination to bless, regardless of how we configure the eternal. The human heart continues to dream of a state of wholeness, a place where everything comes together, where loss will be made good, where blindness will transform into vision, where damage will be made whole. To invoke a blessing is to call some of that wholeness upon a person now. And if you like, I would like to invite you now to just again close your eyes and find a real comfortable way of being, sitting or laying down, wherever you are. Feel again your heartbeat. Feel all or any tension just dropping off you with every breath that comes and goes. Allowing your breath to be in his own rhythm, his own time. Being breathed in and being breathed out. And feel your heartbeat. Feel how every beat of your heart is reaching every cell in your whole body. What quality is this heartbeat expressing right now? What is the message it sends to your cells? Allow it to become more and more relaxed with every breath. Feeling your pulse everywhere in your body. See if there's a place that needs adjustment, and let go of any tension there. And stay aware in the center of your heart, while you now descend with one thought. Send your essence down into the center of the earth, Mother Earth, Gaia, Mother Earth. Just with one thought, connect, and let the line of your light meet her center. Feeling welcome, allowing to rest a little moment there. And find an essence in your heart that you wish to give to that center of Mother Earth. What quality of yours would you like to share? What blessing? What message? Just take your time in the embrace of that center there. Merging your light with her very essence. And feeling her embrace. Allow to be nurtured with everything you need. You might need. You might wish for. And let it arrive in the center of your heart, still feeling the connection. There's no need to break that connection. You can just keep it. A stream of light, constant, with the mothering embrace, a mothering love, an open ear to all that is needed, a shelter, a nurturing. And then travel up, again with one thought, the center of the universe. Gather that, what could be called Father Sky, in one point, and arrive there. Let as well all your star connection arrive there now. Your brothers and sisters of your light lines, your cosmic inheritages. Let them all gather there at that point. And feel that constant stream of light from the center of your heart towards there. Instantly. And feel the blessings raining down on you. Feel the nurturing, feel the inspiration, the messages, the presence of the light from all your brothers and sisters, your helpers, your guides and guards, streaming into you now. Opening towards the memory of what is needed for you now and in the coming year. Opening the memory and opening and transforming all light lines that are needed to support you and the reason why you are here right now in this earth, in this life. And as well for you, let it be a giving and receiving at the same time. So out of your heart, stream out anything you wish to give, you wish to say to the essence of all these beings, of the brothers and sisters in the light, your guides, your guards, your family. Let the giving and the taking be one, the giving and the receiving be one. And expand now your field as wide as you like. And keep both of the channels up and down as long as you wish. But now expand as far and wide as you like. And invite in this moment into a small sphere of light in front of you all the topics that still need care, your attention, or solutions in your life. May it be people you need to make peace with, people you need to help, people you need to give your time to. Whatever it is, or situations that you have been avoiding, bring them into a sphere of light, a sphere of blessing in front of you. And charge that sphere with the essence that is flowing out of your heart. You can add any quality that you wish. It can be love, patience, strength, courage, peace, acceptance. And feel the transformation that is happening in that light. One person, one topic, one situation after the other is melting in the golden diamond light in that sphere. And if you're ready, just take it softly and tenderly right into your heart space, knowing that in the coming days and weeks, all that you wished for, all transformations will happen in ease and comfort and in love for the highest good of all that have been part of it. Heavenly source of all being, may the embrace of your light guide me now and forevermore. I walk the way. May the might of your endless love fill all space and time. I am the light of the world. May the light lines open, connecting all beings as brothers and sisters. We are the union of light. May grace fill our voices, hearts, and hands. Always. So, with this, I just would like to play another music for those who like to still listen and stay. Sure, on this shining night, and I wish everyone a wonderful time in the coming days, and hopefully time as well to have the space to go inside and witness all these open gates or open light lines that are available right now. But thank you for being together, and may all the blessings be with you, be with us all.
Shall
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you, Naleea, and thank you everyone for being here. Enjoy your festive season. Happy solstice, happy Christmas, and a happy new year to everyone.